Basic mountain shape. Pretty simple. It doesn't take a whole lot to do it. If you're unhappy with that shape, maybe you want to add to it a little bit. I'm going to show you how you can kind of add to it. Alright, so like say you have a couple distinct lines here. You have this one right here, and you have this one right here. Alright? You can really add to any of them, but I like to go to the one that's kind of furthest, which would be this one right here. So it's kind of, if you take a look at the mountains on kind of like an angle, so what you can do is grab some of your white, a little roll of paint, just like you were doing your highlights, and let's say you want to kind of like add to this peak right here. Kind of come in and just put that peak in right there. Whenever you put a peak in, some highlight to highlight one area, you're going to kind of do the other. Shape it a little bit more here. Alright, I'll kind of put a little bit more of an edge to the front of your mountain there. Now you don't have to do this as something I'm just showing you. You get more comfortable. If you want to try it later on, you can do that. So you can take a look back at it, and it kind of puts like a little edge out in front of that mountain there. Makes it a little more, I guess, three-dimensional, if you want to call it that. And you can just play with it, do whatever you want. Now that you got your basic mountain in there, what you want to do is just take a dry brush and we're going to start misting it, alright? So, dry brush very lightly, but light enough to create some mist. You want to follow the angles of your mountain. My goodness. On the other side. This thing shakes like a bastard. You're afraid to mist up the mountain, You can take it as high or low as you want. Alright. Shake off the excess paint. And then very lightly, just blend it right up into your mountain. Following the angles. Just lift that mist right up there. Right? It'll blend everything in. Alright. So, up to this point, this is kind of what you should have. Now, if you noticed the peak that since we missed it, the peak that I put out, it kind of is a little bit more pronounced that we've added some mist as far as it coming out. And that was kind of like the purpose of me showing you that. Although something might not look right when you're doing it, when you do other things to it, like add mist or put another plane in front of it, which is what the mist is. It's another plane. It kind of makes the painting pop a little bit more. All right, so what you want to do now is, now that you've done your misting, mountain, sky, and all that, we're going to put some kind of like hills in the background here. We're going to use the same mountain color that we were using. I actually just pulled some off to the side because I made a bunch of it. We're going to use a lot of that color. You're going to grab a little bit of white and mix it in just to lighten it up a little bit. So you should have more of like a gray. So you want it lighter than the mountain and darker than the mist. So in between there. You can use a 2-inch brush and just tap it right into the color that you just mixed. Alright? You get a nice even distribution of paint throughout the bristles here. Alright? And you want to follow the lines of your mountain here. Alright, so let's say if we started back here. Alright? You just want to touch with your brush. Just tap. Tap. This one's going to go right off the edge there. Same with this one. This is how I like to start it off, anyway. Okay. We got this one here. Just kind of like follow the angles. You don't have to make them all straight. You can go up and down So I'll take this one, I'll like kind of bring it up a little bit. Kind of have this one go off to the distance there, to the side. Alright. You can put, I like to always put stuff in between. Have one kind of run into the other, breaking it off. Okay. All right. So once you get your hills in there, you want to just go to the top using the same brush and just pull straight up. So as you can see, like some of these are angled a little bit. You don't want to go straight up this way. All of them are just straight up. Boom. Lift, and it'll give it like a little indication. Maybe some trees or something tall in the background. Just do each one just like that. Very light touch. You're not trying to like smear it, you're just trying to pull it a little. If you want to add a few more in there, like maybe I want to fill in this space here, just put something light in there just to fill it in. Once you got everything pulled up to your liking here, just remember these straight up lines are probably an indication of trees, or at least that's how I look at them. Obviously trees are not going to just float off into water. When I fill those spaces in too, becomes a little bit more of a darker forest towards the end. Alright. Alright. Take my fan brush. On the tip, you can go right into your titanium white. Just a littlest bit of white on there. Alright. Give you an idea. Not loading up the brush. And what you can do is just very lightly, gently, pull straight up. It's going to give you like a little indication of snow, maybe some, what do you want to call it, tree trunks. Alright. This is an Arctic scene. So they're not going to be brown. You won't be from that far away anyway. At least not in my eyes they wouldn't be. You can do this as many places as you like. So this is kind of what you should have up until this point. Something that looks like this. If this is not what you have, I don't know what to tell you. You obviously haven't been following along. If you're watching this instructional video, you're not following along, then I don't know. Go fuck yourself. Do your own thing. and you can end up with a massive piece of shit. But for everybody else, you have something that looks similar to this, good job. All right, so now that we've got our background in there, some hills, mountains and trees and shit, you want to move on to the next step. So you're gonna kind of figure out where you want your painting to go from here. I always like land and water, you know, so maybe I might try to put like an island out here, maybe some trees on it. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. One thing you gotta keep in mind is that a thin paint is gonna stick to a thicker paint. We got a lot of paint going on over here, especially up in this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a tree come down, let's say right about here. We'll have some land come out, and we'll do some trees over here too. And so what you wanna do is you wanna use the same mountain color that you had. You can even mix it into that gray hill color that you just used so you're not wasting paint, and darken it up. You want it very dark, almost black.